Hi, Democrats. Today is Monday, January 18th. No, it's Tuesday, January 18th. Time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Tuesday. So as you can tell, I'm still recovering from the weekend. This weekend, we celebrated, commemorated the birth of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And the date has turned into the celebration, the commemoration has turned into something that's a little bit odd, right? For some people, it's just a long weekend. For some people, it's time to acknowledge the accomplishments of the civil rights leader. And then for some people, it's a time to dig up old quotes and to twist them and turn them to mean what you want them to mean. If you're on social media, like I am, you saw a whole bunch of quotes by a whole bunch of people who do not live by the quotes that they put out. They do not live by the example that Dr. King tried to set for us in his civil rights activism. It's a little disheartening. So, additionally, I like to take the lead of the family of the people who knew him. And this weekend, people all over our nation took to the streets to highlight the need to pass the Voting Rights Act bill, to highlight the need to make sure that we are still all guaranteed the franchise of voting. And that it's not made more difficult during election years. It's not made more difficult by people who are trying to cement their place. And so this year it meant Voting Rights Act, and it meant, acknowledgments of civil rights, how far we've come, and yet we still have stuff to do. It meant progress. And it also meant, again, that we need to take his quotes and make it mean something else. Our governor, who in a speech yesterday, on the day set aside to commemorate civil rights advancements and the accomplishments of Dr. King, our governor took the time to craft a whole speech around McGirt and try to somehow link that to Dr. King. This is why we need full history. Because if folks don't have the full history and they don't have the context, they can delude themselves into believing that Dr. King would be upset with the McGirt ruling. In one of his more famous speeches, he talked about that our nation was founded on a racist premise of wiping out indigenous peoples. I mean, there's a whole speech about it. You don't have to look hard. Type in Martin Luther King, Native Americans, Martin Luther King, indigenous people. There's a whole speech that comes up. However, our governor decided to say that he thinks that Dr. King would be upset about McGirt. It's shameful. It's embarrassing. It's cultural appropriation on a whole nother level. Dr. King made his beliefs on Native American sovereignty and what our nation has done to our indigenous brothers and sisters pretty clear. I have this whole thing written out that I want to speak on, but I'm just so frustrated that I'm trying really hard to be respectful. So I'm going to skip and talk about some numbers that I want to make sure that you guys are very aware of. I want to talk about some numbers. 87. 87 is the number of days until the filing deadline on April 15th. That is less than 3 months. So if you are thinking about running for office, or you know somebody that needs to be convinced to run for office, or you know somebody who needs to raise some money to be able to pay their filing fee to run for office, they have less than 3 months to get it together. Have them reach out to the party. We will help them navigate this process. We will help them get there. But we have 87 days to the filing deadline, which is on April 15th. 294. That's the number of days we have until the election. Notice that number keeps getting smaller. It's coming. It's coming faster than I can get my head around. So if you already picked your candidate that you support, or you already decided to run for office, you need to be knocking doors. You need to be raising money. You need to be telling people why they need to vote for you. If you are helping a candidate, you need to be sharing their social media. You need to be donating to their campaigns. You need to be telling people why they are the candidate that you need to vote for. 294 days isn't a lot. There's a whole lot of holidays in there where people aren't going to be thinking about this. We need to make an imprint now. 294 days. My next number, 20. That's how many days before the legislative session. So you guys are going to hear from me on the bills that our Democrats are putting up that we're very proud of, and the bills that we all need to be aware of and perhaps lobby against, communicate with our legislators. But it's 20 days. We're going into not a special session, but regular election session in less than 3 weeks. It's a big deal, and it's happening now. Zero. The number of days since our governor reminded us that he needs to retire. You would think he could go a couple of days and we wouldn't think about it, but every day he reminds us this is not the job he wants. Beyond the fact that he's already running for president, this is not the job he wants. And let's help him out. Let's take this job away from him and hire his replacement. That's where we are. We have 294 days to vote him out. We have 87 days to get another candidate we have 87 days to get another candidate to run that you feel like you can support. If you want to support the ones that have already announced, you need to be out there supporting them. If you can't support the ones that have already announced, find me someone else. We have 87 days to the end of filing. It's a lot to go on. It's a lot to do. We have a lot of work to do. A legislative cycle starts in less than 3 weeks. Guys, thanks for joining me, but don't just come and listen. Come and take action. Come and hear the things that we need to be doing and share it with your friends. I'll be back here tomorrow at 4:15. Thanks for joining.